Good morning, good morning. Ignore the way I look. I have not gotten ready yet this morning. I'm having a hard time getting going. We were up really late and I just can't get going. But we have a really busy day today. My son just left for his IEP services. I have to bring my daughter to co-op. She has to be there. We have to leave in about 45 minutes. So I wanted to get dinner going in the crock pot because we have to eat early dinner tonight, my daughter and I, because she has her play dress rehearsal, and so my husband and my son will eat later. So crock pot meals are the way to go on busy days. I've got some things to get done during the day. So anyways, if you are watching this on YouTube, I go live on my Instagram, Her Hearts at Home, and I will share in the description my handle. And you can join me over there if you want to see these live. Otherwise, I always share photos of the completed product every night at dinner time. So that's what I do. So if you're on YouTube, come join me on Instagram too. So I've got some beef stew meat in my crock pot. I wanted it thawed out so I could cut them smaller because they're kind of big pieces, but they're still pretty frozen. So once they're cooked nice and soft, I'll just go in and just break them down a little bit so they're smaller, just to spread the meat over the stew a little farther. So anyways, beef stew meat in my crock pot, and I'm making a beef and barley stew. So I got some pearl barley from Azure, and it is organic. It's 2 pounds. It was a really good deal. I love barley. I think it's so delicious. So I will actually cook this separately and add it in right before we eat, because otherwise it will continue to absorb the broth and then there'll be no broth in there and it'll just be like a casserole. Thank you. So anyways, I will cook this separate, add it in right before we eat. It will probably be more casserole-like by the time my son and husband eat, but that's fine. You could always add more broth, but if you cook this in your slow cooker with your stuff, you are not going to have soup. So just know that any type of grain or pasta will continue to absorb the liquid and get kind of soggy. So I'll cook this separate, but I just wanted to show you the barley that I'm going to use. So if you haven't tried Azure, definitely give them a try. I will also share a link in the description on the YouTube video to my Azure link, which I do get a $25 credit if you decide to order and spend $100. It doesn't cost you anything extra if you use my link, but it does give me a referral. So anyways, got that. A lot of what I'm using is actually from my Azure standard order. So the next thing I'm going to use is just some chopped frozen celery. So when my celery starts to go bad, I just chop it up and freeze it for soups and things like that. So I'm just going to put some celery in there. I don't measure when I cook things like this. I just do it however it feels right. So celery. And then I've got a little bit of crazy corn. This is from Sawbush Island Farms, and I talk about them all the time because truly I love their products. They are the best frozen produce that I have encountered. So we really like the crazy corn. It's purple, white, and just regular sweet corn. And this is also from my Azure order. So I've got like a half a bag here that I used in another meal. So I'm just gonna dump that in there. You can use whatever veggies you want. Alright, and then I've got this one. It's some organic peas and carrots. Snowpack is the brand. This is also from my Azure order. On days like today, when I just don't have time to sit and chop a bunch of vegetables, these really come in handy. I like how tiny the little carrots are, so I'll use about half of this bag, and then I'll save the other half for another meal. This one is really, really great for fried rice, because it's like the perfect size for fried rice. So I really enjoy those. Again, those are from Azure. And then yesterday I chopped up a bunch of onion for dinner, and I didn't use all of it, so I'll put some of that in here. I will not put all of it, but I'll put some of it in there. And if you missed yesterday, I talked about my little chopper that I recently got, and it's amazing. So you can go watch my video from yesterday's dinner and see about that, because it's awesome. So some onion, and then I'm going to put in some garlic. This my mom had in her fridge when she left town for the winter, so I took anything that was going to expire while she was gone. So I'm just going to use this. You could definitely just use fresh garlic. I have some of that. If I was not in such a hurry, I would have also chopped up some of that. But okay, then this is some no salt seasoning from Costco. Some of that in there. This is really good seasoning. I'm also going to throw in a couple bay leaves. And you can just remove these when it's time to eat. Okay, and then I just got some granulated onion. So I know that I've got onion in there, but I also I would put a lot more onion in there, but my kids don't like it, so I'll use the granulated onion instead, because it gives the flavor without the pieces of onion. And some pepper. And then also going to put in some parsley. You make me want to cook beef stew tonight now. Yeah, I do love beef stew. I actually love all beef. If I could eat beef every day, I would. I would prefer it over chicken. But I had gotten a larger pack of beef stew from Fresh Thyme, and beef stew meat, and we used part of it last week, and so I froze it to use the rest in a future meal, and that is today. So, okay, and then I don't have beef broth on hand right now, so I always keep either beef bouillon or Better Than Bouillon. I really like the Better Than Bouillon. This is the organic, reduced sodium roasted beef base, so I will use this when I don't have beef broth on hand. So I already got it going. This is about 5 cups. Because like I said, the barley, once I do put it in here, even though it will be cooked, is going to absorb some of the liquid. So I wanted to make sure I had plenty of liquid for when my husband and son finally get to eat, since they're going to eat later than us. So I just had heated up some water to boiling and then added in the bouillon. And then the last thing I need, which I forgot in the fridge, is this. I used some of it yesterday. I use it too when I don't have any bone broth. Yeah, it's really good. It's nice to have it on hand. And Costco had all the flavors. They had chicken and vegetable and beef, so I got them all. They're nice to have on hand in a pinch for sure. And then I used some of this. This is also from Azure, Bio Nature 100% organic strained tomatoes, product of Italy. There's nothing else in here except for organic strained tomatoes. So it's a very clean product. I like that it comes in the glass jars as opposed to cans. I'm not a huge fan of canned products. We do use some, but anything that I can find in glass or frozen, I prefer to do that. But I'm going to put some of this in there. This one I used yesterday, so I'm going to use some more of it today, just to give it that little bit of tomato flavor. I'm not going to put a ton in there because I don't want it totally tomato based, but it just gives it a little bit more depth of flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and just mix that all up, and I'm going to start it out on high so that way I can get that meat going, and let it cook on high for a little while, and then I'll turn it down to low. But probably I'm going to have to let it cook on high a little longer today than I normally would, because we do have to eat earlier. Ideally it would be cooking till 6 tonight, but we are going to have to probably eat at 4:35, so it's not going to have quite as long in there as I would like it to. So that's that. I'm going to leave it on high and let it start, and then right before my daughter and I eat, we will add in the barley and have some fruit on the side. So I like soups and stews because you got everything in one dish, and it just makes it easier. So that's that. I will share pictures when it's all done tonight, and of course to my YouTube. So if you missed it, I will share it on my IGTV so you can go back and watch it. Otherwise, come check it out on YouTube too. Bye guys.